The unfoldable. Maybe we should expect the unexpected from Gary Rogers. Access all areas today. It will be one to watch when race one of the V8 Supercar season gets underway. But we have got a big lineup. The V8 Utes will be on track, the Dunlop Series as well, and the Pocket Rockets are out there right now. The Aussie Racing Cars is our support commentator, Aaron Noonan.
Matt, Aussie Racing Cars for their second race of the weekend on the streets of Adelaide. Cam McConville is using his Aussie race car calling. He's doing it all today. And Cam, we've got 34 of these Aussie Racing Cars set to be let loose. And Adrian Cottrell, champion in car number one race one yesterday, therefore starts from pole for this one.
Yeah, he certainly does, Noons. And the racing is absolutely awesome with the Aussie Racing Cars around here. And also look out for Darren Chamberlain. You'll see once we scroll through the grid, he's right at the very back, a heavy crash in that Orion, so he'll be quick coming through the field. Keep an eye on the Massini boys. They've got new backing from VIP Pet Foods. There's just about every category's got a VIP car in it somewhere. They just keep on coming. Tim Miles, a familiar name, former co-owner of the Tasman Motorsport team. He loves it too. We can't get him out of these. He has a smile on his face all the time, as you would racing around the streets of Adelaide. You'll see them 2 wide, even 3 wide. And unlike other categories, they manage to get around the corner most of the time. Simon Smith starting a lot further back. He is one of the front runners. So from 29th on the grid, expect him to charge. Tom Drew is a local driver who's joined in the series, back from the United States to have a run. 34 cars. I don't know how we fit them all in. The good news is when we come back to the Clipsal 500, we'll get a race start. What a great sight, the Clipsal 500 street circuit and the FW1 Aussie Racing Cars. They've lined them up and they've got to go around the corner. There's that many of them. Adrian Cottrell will start from pole, the reigning champ on board car number 1. Peter Carr, they juked it out last year for the championship. Kyle Clues and Morris Massini on the second row of the grid. Let's get racing. In 2012, centre chicane awaits. 34 cars go in. Cam McConville, how many come out? Well, we'll wait and see, Noons. I'm pretty confident. You know, you see a lot of the other categories slide and you know, lack grip through there on the first lap. But these cars, they're so nimble, they can put them everywhere. The bumps do affect them, but they recover very quickly because they are so light. It's a motorbike engine. You know, they weigh sort of 500-600 kilo mark, they're really cross between a Formula Ford and a go-kart. And you get some great onboard footage. And that was riding with Travis Edwards in the 16 car, but it is Cottrell who leads the way. Carr, Clues, Tyler Owen, who he finished equal on points in last year's championship with Cottrell, but lost on a countback by virtue of the last race result in Sydney. So he's a real contender. And when you hit a curb in one of these, you know about it. Yeah, that one's just a little bit too big, but Massini struggled in the VIP there, VIP Pet Foods entry. He's been a little bit slow on this first lap, lost one spot. Look at this. Ooh. That was wild. And how nice save. Move. That was a great save. That was a great move. Kyle Clues on the charge, former series champ. Oh, one around in the background. Bit of drift work. Oh, no, hit the curb. And that's done more damage. So, obviously, turn 9, there was something going on there. There's Massini up the inside. He actually lost out of that. He had a little bit of nose-to-tail contact, which lost him a little bit of momentum. You really need a good run down the front straight off that final turn. Just hearing, Cam, that Trent Young and Tyler Owen, who sit 5th and 6th, have both been given a 5-second penalty for jumping the start. There's more carnage here at turn 14. You know how I said about all the cars going in the chicane and coming out? I should have said it about the first lap. Yeah, a little bit later on in the lap. In fact, that big slide out of turn 8. Let's have a look. There's a couple of them there. That was Brendan Pingle in the yellow car having the big sideways moment. And that was huge because it's still 160 k/h corner speed for these cars, probably more by the exit. And what happens is when you lift on the exit of the corner, the rear of the car becomes unloaded. And that was a big save. And this was down the tail of the third, a little further on the lap. Simon Smith up the inside in car 95, putting a move. Was there a lean? Was there a touch? Adam Sharp. There certainly was afterwards, I'll give you the tip. But I think he might have just lost it on his own on the exit there. Let's have a look. He's on the outside. Yep. Not a lot of grip out there. Get on the gas too early. And bang. Whoa, nearly went over. The curb stopped him going over in the end. That was nasty stuff. Darren Chamberlain He's not having a good weekend, but back to the front. It is on. You can't get away in Aussie Racing Cars. Adrian Cottrell, the reigning champ, under fire from Kyle Cluse, the former champ. Peter Carr's there. Morris Massini. Remember that Owen and Young are there behind them, but plus 5 seconds onto them for jumping the start.
It's a good way of doing it. They've had a look at the rules this season with a lot of the support categories. Rather than issuing a drive-through, which just ruins your race, they add the 5 seconds to your race time at the end. How early he's back on the throttle there.
Whoa.
Bit of a misshift, and he actually shook his head. It cost him 3 car lengths.
And he just set the fastest lap of the race, a 35.5. Let's just have a stop and a listen. Double wave yellows, car down the escape road. This is a hot lap in an Aussie racing car.
The weaving going on up ahead is unbelievable, trying to shake the toe into turn 8. Listen here. 100% throttle through turn 8. Absolutely flat to the floor. That'd be, other than an open-wheeler Formula 3 car, there wouldn't be too many categories that you could get away with that. Awesome stuff.
Oh, Cottrell's wide. He's given away the lead. Cluse has got him. And Carr's trying to get around as well. He gets it done. Blink and bang. 2 spots out the window.
Lost a lot of speed on the exit. And the interesting thing for me, just listening to that onboard, was just how early they pick up the throttle. There's no coast time. It's one or the other. Brake and straight back on the gas to try and keep that momentum going.
This is the replay on the exit, and that is why he had 2 off the deck. No wonder he was going slow. You need 4 on the ground.
You just cannot get away with that much curve. That inside curve at turn 9's quite high, but in most cars you wouldn't even feel them. Look at this. Absolutely out of control through the turn 1-2 chicane.
And we should point out too that we've often said, have a look at the rear stepping out under the bumps into turn 4. There's actually a new option engine in this category now. There's a water-cooled Yamaha engine, and some are stuck with the air-cooled engine. It's a mixture between all these guys at the front. It doesn't seem to matter what they're running with. They're all competitive. They're all in it. Cottrell's on the inside. Has he got it done? He does. And what that does is it gets Kyle Cluse a little bit of a breathing room.
Well, Kyle Cluse is stuck with the air-cooled engine, so the Yamaha upgrade water-cooled. Certainly if you're in traffic, we normally have mid-30s, low 30s here in Adelaide, but it's about 10 degrees cooler, so it shouldn't be a problem for the air-cooled engines this weekend.
Turn 8, there comes a point. Well, you just have to lift, you have to give it away, and you know about that. You were in a scrap, I remember, with Paul Dumbrell on you there.
I think that's as a result of our huge shunt. They changed the rules there. That well, it's not so much a rule, it's a bit of a driver agreement that impossible to go through there too wide, but I reckon an Aussie race car could challenge that. Full throttle, side by side.
They seem to be 3 wide everywhere else. Have a look at this run through the chicane. Don't forget the Aussies are on the moment, but the V8s are coming up soon. How about this, though? It's so hard to keep a track of everything that goes on and to talk about too much else, because just as you go to do so, it's still on. Cluse and Cottrell, they lead the way. Of course, today is the first race in the V8 Supercars Championship, the Clipsal 500. But for the moment, the Aussie Racing Cars turning it on. The top 2 have cleared away from Peter Carr, who won the most races last year, but had a bad round at Phillip Island, and that really killed off his championship chances. Morris Massini's going with them. Tyler Owen next, then Trent Young. Brendan Pingle is 7th. He was Rookie of the Year last year. Hey, how about this? Simon Smith, remember I spoke about him at the start? He started 29th. He's 9th.
Well, I hope I can do that later on. Nunes, I've got to start right at the back, but I'd say Kyle Cluse, he's been in this category for some time, so you'd have to say he and Carr, they're certainly the most experienced out of this top 5. Always in the top 3 or 4, Kyle Cluse.
Cottrell to the inside at turn 8. It gets to a point where whoever's got their nose in front just before there gets right of way. But it sets up the overtake for turn 9, and Cluse is going for it. Cottrell covers. Look how deep they're going. And that, you notice there too, slight change in pavement, resurfacing from the turn 9 hairpin. And this takes us back into Victoria Park, the racecourse section as we call it. Oh, Cottrell almost in the fence. Don't tell me he's not trying hard.
I think you'd get out 7 laps in one of these, absolutely exhausted, because they're just wringing the neck of the cars. Look at them dancing around under brakes. The rear of the car clearly unweighted. And even when they lock a front, they don't seem to do a lot of damage or to their lap pace because the car's so light.
That time around, Carr, 1:35.33. Fastest man on the road. These two keep on going. Cottrell and Carr, top 4, clearing away.
Massini's caught up too, so this has worked well for him. In the older body shape, you can see.
Yeah, that's the AU Falcon body shape. There's the Falcon, there's the Commodore, there's the Toyota as well. How's Kyle Clues at turn 1?
Nice bit opposite lock going on there.
That's how you go fast. How's Cottrell? His thing was over the curb as well. He leads the way. This is ripper stuff. Off the exit curb, turn 7 now. All tucking in, looking for that slipstream. Motorcycle gearbox, Yamaha engine, about 125 horsepower, so the power to weight ratio is unbelievable.
And you'll get a big toe too on the exit here and be looking to try and pull out of the draft, which you can see them all blocking the inside line now. It's the business end, 2 laps to go. It's fair game. Full defensive driving going on.
Just love watching him throw these cars around, and that's why we've seen the odd V8 supercar driver or drivers come from other categories step into these cars. They're not winning the races because they're quite a different car to drive.
Yeah, they're very much like a sticky tyre go-kart or a high-speed shifter kart or something. I'd imagine Jack Perkins, we saw do a few races in this category last year, enjoyed his time. Side by side into turn 1.
Oh,
there's contact there.
Oh, boys, settle it down. Last lap, Peter Carr jumps to second, Kyle Clues jumps the chicane, and Adrian Cottrell jumps away.
Very aggressive stuff. It's even in an Aussie race car, tricky to go through turn 1, 2 side by side. Not so much turn 4. They'll probably carry this on through 5. And then who's going to come off best?
Mercedes perfectly placed to fill a gap if it opens here. Cottrell's got away though. They'll have a real drama catching him on this last lap. This was when we were on board. This was the touch into the chicane.
Oh,
nice.
No. Chasing the side draft. It's all going to be on at turn 9. And I think you're right, Massini's going to be well placed here. He's maybe even a little bit too close though. He needs to take advantage of the toe. Lost a bit of time on the exit because he was a little too close on the way into turn 8.
Car's in the gap. Clues has got it dancing around on the rear brake. But the Toyota's up the inside, through to second. But the problem is you think, oh, I've got the spot. I've worked hard. Oh, he's attacking me again. You just can't get away and you can't rest.
It's worked out well, though, for Cottrell. He's put the head down on the last lap, got that breather. But there's still one more corner to go here.
Last chance. He's going for it. He's sneaking into the gap. Carr hangs wide. He's going to get him too. They can't get to Cottrell. The young gun from South Australia picks up his second race win of the weekend. Carr grabs second. Clues is third. Massini is fourth. Young crosses the line in fifth, but remember that 5-second penalty will come into effect, so Brendan Pingle will jump up to position 5. I was going to write down good race Aussie Racing Cars, but we do that every time. That was another 7-lap classic.
It was interesting, Clues actually lost. He got past on the last turn and then lost the momentum to the line, so back to P3 for him.
Recapping the results, Tyler Owen 7th on the road, Simon Smith 29th to 8th, Mark Clements and Craig Woods rounded out the top 10. After the break, Cam's getting in the utes. The V8 Ute boys will be let loose in Adelaide.